All right, we're back and we'll continue more great topics. This one, a little somber. Joe Paterno, they came up with the findings that they did, Penn State, that is, the football program did cover it up. We're knowing that Jerry Sandusky did these horrible acts to these children. Now there's the family coming out saying that they want to do their own independent findings, but that's a different can of worms altogether. Let's just stick with this. What does this do with Joe Paterno's legacy?
Well, it's despicable. I don't know how, forget about keeping the program going, any of that, your contract. As a human being, how do you not go to someone else and say what this guy is doing if you know about it? That would just be hanging over me for years.
He put football ahead of everything. He put football, that program, Penn State, ahead of the lives of those kids. And yeah, it's awful. And now where those kids is, or at least the college's reaction to Joe and the way they put him on that pedestal is going to change. It should, but will it? I don't know.
Penn State has said that they are not going to take down the statue that sits just outside the stadium of Joe Paterno. I know there have been a lot of talks about that. But let's just move into the football program itself. Should they be punished? Should the program be in what the NCAA would call the death penalty? Scrap them for a year or years?
See, people were calling on that before all the findings came out, and I wouldn't have necessarily agreed with that. What Sandusky did was terrible, but don't punish the whole program. Now that these findings are out, that, yeah, they covered it all up, yeah, they should be punished.
Yeah, it wasn't just one guy that covered it up. That entire coaching staff, that entire program covered it up. They should be shut down for a few years. And yeah, it's not easy to get re-going again after Penn State loses their program for a couple of years. And it's going to be sad because Penn State is football.
Well, think about it too. You strip, just as an example, Reggie Bush, he gets his trophy taken away for accepting endorsements and all that. And you're not going to do anything to a program if they do this?
Yeah, it seems like the rules are different for players than it is for coaching staffs and administrators.
Yeah, unfortunately that's the case, but it does seem interesting enough to see what goes on in the next few weeks with the whole Penn State football program. Moving on to Drew Brees, picking up a 5-year, $100 million contract. Big money for this guy. Would you agree to the statement if I say this, that the reason why Drew Brees got this money was, or at least the leverage to get this type of contract, was because of the scandal that happened earlier with the Saints, with the whole hitting in the bounty program that was going on? Would that be safe to say that he kind of said, look, you guys were in trouble, you guys are going to be in trouble without me, just bump up the pay just a little bit?
You could make a case for that.
Would he really do that? I would, but I don't know if he would. But I don't know if that really came down to that, Drew Brees kind of hanging that over top of their heads. I think more than anything, the Saints needed something to get their attention away from that bounty gate, directed it towards signing their all-star quarterback or their all-pro quarterback. So yeah, I think it's a good signing for the Saints, good signing for Drew, and wow, $100 million, that's just insane though.
And 60 of it guaranteed. I guess we'll move on to the next question. Is he worth that type of money?
Well, it's like that Crosby contract. No matter what he does on the field, he is New Orleans. People love him there. You need to have him on your team. If you let him go to a division rival or something, your team's not the same. The city's not the same.
He found his home in New Orleans, and they love him. And yeah, he is the Saints. And does he deserve? Does any player deserve that kind of money? Likely not. But you know what? He's more than just a player for that franchise. He is that franchise.
He won him a Super Bowl title too as well, so you can't necessarily knock him. He is pretty much a god in New Orleans. Let's move on to the Riders, of course. Big win over the weekend, taking on the BC Lions, the defending Grey Cup champions. They're 3-0 right now. They have, last time they had the third win was back in September last year.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that's how it was. What do you make of this 3-0 start, and what were the reasons, or what are the reasons why they've done so well?
Don't get too excited. You know, hey, it's great we're 3-0. It's fantastic. We beat the BC Lions, defending Grey Cup champions. Don't start making plans for the Grey Cup yet. You know, it's a long way until then. A lot of things go wrong until then. But you know what? The team is bought in to the coaching staff, whether it be the head coach, the defensive coach, the quarterback coach. Kahari Jones, I thought, has done a tremendous job right now with Durant. But you know, they're playing great football. At the same time, there's a lot of football yet to be played.
Well, they've been the most consistent team, too, throughout the whole game. Special teams getting it done. No turnovers.
Yeah, no turnovers at all this season. That's amazing.
That's the biggest key to their success.
Is ball control and ball management. That's definitely will help you. The less you turn over, the better, obviously. So, but yes, so you would agree that, well, not hold your horses, but what would you contribute? You say all three facets have done well. Coaching staff?
Yeah, coaching staff. I think Kahari Jones coming in for Durant has definitely been helpful for him. And Durant was talking to the media saying that he's like a point guard in basketball now. That's why they're telling him how to address his offense. Just like a point guard, you look for your openings, you look for your passes. If they're not there, go to that lane and go to the basket. And that's what he's been doing all season. So at least for the first three games.
Yes, well, helped them out. The Eskimos coming up with a big win on Friday over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The offense looked great. Running back Charles was done a fantastic job as well on the ground. How much of this was the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and how much of this was the Edmonton Eskimos offense getting back on track?
Well, the Bombers seem to be out of sorts again this year. That all the controversy from the off-season has seemed to spill on the field. I'll give credit to the Eskimos, but Bombers are in disarray.
Bombers are horrible. They're horrible. When Edmonton's spanking you like that, Edmonton's a bad football club. Winnipeg's just worse.
Well, now the Eskimos are 2-1, so they can't complain. Really, they're still right up. They're right in there. They're tied with BC at second place.
Smoke and mirrors.
I guess let's talk about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers just a little bit. What has been the issue this season? Has it been their attitude? Has it been the quarterback position with Buck Pierce not really staying healthy, or has it been that defense not as good as it was last year?
When's the last time Buck Pierce been healthy? You know, he was healthy in BC. He got to Winnipeg and got the Winnipeg flu for the last 2 years. It doesn't look good for Winnipeg right now. Defensively, they said they had no room for Willis. They didn't have room for his attitude. On and off the field, they moved him. Willis has looked pretty good in Saskatchewan so far. He hasn't really exploded on the scene, but he's been solid. So Winnipeg's in a whole bunch of trouble, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see a coaching change in Winnipeg before Labor Day or after Labor Day.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Gloves Are Off.